come to remember Katim, where all of us can come together to remember these moments in our history and to give thanks to Canada as the home, as the protection for all of these people. So thank you as well for that. But more must be done, because we know that people continue to live in oppression, and that is the focus of your event tonight. You could have forgotten about the people back in Vietnam. You could have just said, move on and we won't remember, but you continue to advocate for their freedom and for their human rights. And I am proud, dear friends, I am very proud to belong to a government and to have a Prime Minister in Stephen Harper, which is the first government in Canadian history to strongly, consistently raise directly with the Vietnamese government, with the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, our strong and enduring concern about the violation of human rights in Vietnam. And we will continue to do so. We will continue to do so. In 2006, September 2006, Prime Minister Harper went on his first APEC summit. That's the Asia Pacific Economic and Cooperation Summit, and it was in Hanoi. And he sat down with the Prime Minister of Vietnam, and he was the first Canadian Prime Minister, eyeball to eyeball, person to person, to say to the head of the Vietnamese government that you must release the prisoners of conscience, and you must stop harassing religious leaders, and you must respect freedom of expression and respect human rights. And we have consistently called, our conservative government led by Prime Minister Stephen Harper has consistently called for the release of the political prisoners of conscience, such as Father Nguyen Van Ly, and the Buddhist and other Catholic and Protestant leaders. In fact, our government created the Office of Religious Freedom at the Department of Foreign Affairs to make the protection of religious freedom a key pillar of Canada's foreign policy. And in doing so, we have explicitly said that we are focusing on and we call for freedom of religion for the Buddhist, Catholic, Protestant, and other faith communities in Vietnam. They should be able to live their faiths without limits, without persecution, without imprisonment, and without harassment. No government in the world should be knocking down and destroying churches and Buddhist monasteries and temples. These are sacred places. They reflect the sacred character of man. When they do violence to these places, they do violence to the memories of your ancestors. And so we call yet again in Vietnam for protection for religious freedom. Now, I know that the government there has promised to release a certain number of political prisoners in the near future. I can assure you that our government will watch and monitor that very closely. And yes, we do hope to have productive, respectful bilateral relations on trade and on other issues, but never, as the Prime Minister said, actually, he was flying to the APEC summit in Hanoi in September of 2006, when he famously said that we will never sacrifice human rights for the almighty dollar. So we can have a productive, respectful relationship with the government in Hanoi. We can pursue trade in the hope that economic growth and the growth of an educated a better educated and a more prosperous population will lead in the long run to greater democratization. But we will not be silent. We will not be silent on the issues that you are raising here tonight. So I want to thank you again for your persistence. I want to assure you of our solidarity and my personal friendship. And I wanted once again to thank Senator No for his remarkable leadership in the heart of Parliament and our government in his proposing and fighting for and ultimately adopting Bill S-219, the Journey to Freedom Day Act, which forever, for all years to come, will ensure that Canadians remember April 30, 1975. They will remember 1979. They will remember the 60,000 boat people. When none of us are here, that will be a marker of permanent historical memory for Canadians and someday, for people in a free and democratic Vietnam. Thank you all. God bless you and God bless Canada. Come on.